Hi everybody, round 29 is about to start. Euroleague is hot on the teams trying to establish their playoff runs. We had, I would say, most of the results coming the way we thought they would. We have one big surprise that was Fener winning in Spain versus Real Madrid and establishing themselves in the top six. Olympiacos won versus Virtus, so Virtus now dropped to seven. But as you can see, from number five to number seven, they all tie with 17 wins. Olympiacos now has the upper hand versus Virtus with a win in Greece. And then we have Armani taking the important game versus Partizan. So Valencia and Partizan with 13 wins. And then we have the group of three teams very hot on the run for the play-in. So with Armani Milano, we have FS and Bayern Munich. So we see how things go there. And then Monaco and Panathinaikos seems to be the most streaky teams right now with 8 wins in the last 10 games. And as we mentioned before, Monaco have quite a nice schedule. So we think they have a really good chance to get in the second spot of the regular season. And of course, Barcelona keeping their position at the number 2 spot. Everyone is really close together. So let's see what this new round has to offer.
Yeah, and let me add, Bill, now that you said and you mentioned Monaco, we have to mention and congratulate Mike James. He's a EuroLeague all-time scorer. Big achievement for Mike James. It's also, for me personally, it's also very nice when you see a player, how he develops. He started playing in the third category, let's say. I think it was the third level in the Italian league. Then he transferred to Greece to play for Colossus Rhodes, yes, before moving to Baskonia. Within, I think, 3 months, 4 months, he transferred to Baskonia from Greece. But his development, his growth throughout the years is amazing to see how a player can mature and can really, if the player is on the right system, how this player can be benefited and also just excel and achieve what something seemed, impossible.
Yeah, Mike James, absolutely sensational. So 8 was a huge thing for this round. And you mentioned when he started. So the days that he was in Rhodes, I was just I was just mesmerized. He was absolutely brilliant. He had this. He reminded me a little bit, I would say, of maybe Derrick Rose, the way that he could explode. Now he doesn't do anymore. I think from a point on, he understood that he needs to protect his knees and his body in order to have that longevity that he has. But back at that time, he was dunk after dunk. Still, he had the moves. Still, he had the amazing shots. But through the years, he developed all the side steps here and there. And as you said, he matured, and he's now the number one player. He's the actual leader of Monaco for the last years. It's just an amazing, very beautiful story with Mike
Yeah,
James.
true.
And do you think he will finally get MVP? I think he deserves it this year.
In my opinion, he deserves it. I mean, hands down. Um, Last year, he led Monaco to final. For this season, I mean, what they say. It's the hardest part is to keep at the high level. once you reach the high level, the hardest part is to stay in at high level. And this year again, you see Monaco number 4 with the record 18-10, and they scored 2,276 points so far. But Mike James has scored a lot of these points. But it's not just scoring; it's his impact to the team. You know, I don't remember the year now, but some years ago, Monaco was in the Eurocup final, I think, versus Unix Kazan, if I'm not mistaken. And now we're talking about not 10 years ago, no. I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was 4 years, 4 or 5.
Yes, something like that. And now you see where Monaco is on the final. I mean, sorry, was in the final 4, and now it's one of the contenders again this season. And the impact of Mike James to the team is immense. If you see how he plays, how he, it's not only scoring points, it's how he can contribute to the team, how he can get players involved as well. So that also is one of the key points why Mike James deserves the MVP this season. It's not just the scoring record; it's overall.
I'm just thinking like, well, could be there, and if we see who is actually playing at the highest level, continuously the whole year, because you had many players playing maybe some parts of it. So you need the player potentially to be in the top 5 spots. I would say 4, most probably. And then probably you won't have any singular player from Real Madrid because it's the whole team. It's not just one individual that has signed the whole year. And then Barca, perhaps you could have Vesely, I think, as a contender. And Panathinaikos, you could have Lesort as a contender. And then the other 2 that, in my mind, they're actually at that level is Larkin. But Larkin, if you can't get your team into the, not even into a guarantee spot, maybe you can't be an MVP.
Yeah, you're battling to get to the play-in tournament. Not to show disrespect or something to FS and Larkin. They're, huge organization and an amazing player. But when you give the MVP award, there are some, let's say, unwritten rules, that you have to take into consideration. And one of these rules is where the team finished the regular season. So you have to look at the standings. I mean, it's, for example, with the same reason as you mentioned, and I agree. If you check Real Madrid is number 1, fine, they have the best record. But if you say, okay, let's say Campazzo is a possible candidate for the MVP. In the last games, and I'm not talking about 2 games or 3 games, I'm talking about more games, he's not the Campazzo that we know. Not that he's a bad player. No. It seems that he is he's taking, let's say, I don't want to say a step back, but he's like not playing at the rhythm that he knows how to play.
Let's just say that Sergio Rodriguez is averaging more playing time than Campazzo for many games in the second round, in the second half of the season. So that says a lot about,
Exactly.
But anyways, I think we also had Baldwin, but he's pretty much on the second half of the year. So I don't think anyone else really makes the case. You could also say from Fener, Hayes Davis, or Moneke from Basconia, but I think nobody can be even close to where Mike James is.
Exactly. He has a longer duration of playing at the high level this year and be productive. But tomorrow is a new day, a new round. We'll start today. And we'll start in a big way. And when I say big way, I mean we have the Greek derby. We have Olympiacos versus Panathinaikos. I know it's a game that Many of us are looking forward to watch. Um, I don't know if it will be an exciting game, or we will see a lot of tactics, defense as well. Um, I believe the atmosphere will be amazing, and I hope we see a nice game, a game to remember, because a lot of a lot of things are on the line in this game, which is in the standings. But let's see what the teams will show on the court. Um, then of course we have um, some other big games. You see Barcelona versus Partizan, another big game, the last game of turn one, as you see. And turn two, we have Virtus versus Real Madrid. Virtus at home is a different team. It takes a lot of strength from the fans, and let's see if Real Madrid will have their third defeat. I mean, it was two rounds ago. I think it was the undefeated team at home, and now they have two losses at home. So you never know. It's very unpredictable. Uh, but that's the beauty of Euroleague and basketball. Um, Also, for the should we move to the coaches' suggestions, or you see any other game that you want to mention, Bill?
Uh, no, I mean, most of the games are important, as we said earlier, at the standings because they are crucial for the placements. I can just see talking about coaches, FS winning in France and continuing the streak and the push towards the play in. So our first coach selection.
Yes, that's true. I want to say that it's one of the must-win games for FS. If you remember, I said the same some in our show. I don't know, 2 shows ago when Embori Armani was playing versus Hasvel in France. Again, these games are must-win games. Another coach
Is that
suggestion.
good or not?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure about the result.
Because Milan lost.
Uh,
But no, we really think FS is gonna win. So
yes, the FS. I mean, Larkin and Clyburn is on a different level at the moment. Um, Another coach suggestion is with if you want to spend more credits for the coach selection is Sasa Bradovic from AS Monaco. AS Monaco is playing versus Alba Berlin in Berlin. Um, Supposedly they will have an easy evening to get to the W. Jordan Lloyd will not play again. He'll be out. The team announced versus Alba, but Monaco has the quality. We said Mike James, but it's not just Mike James. They have Elio Cobo, they have Mota Yunus, and Donda Hall at center. So Alpha Diallo as well. So you see a plethora of good players. So we believe they will get the W versus Alba. Um, Bill, another coach.
yes, we think that Fener will push further, and at home, they should be able to take that game versus Valencia. I have to say that I believe, although Valencia is on the number 10 spot, that their schedule is not preferable. So I have my doubts if they can keep their 10th position. In any case, Fener should be able to push further. It's not an easy game, but they're at home and should be able to, capitalize on the great home court advantage.
Yeah, after Real losing 2 home court games, I think now only Fenerbahce has only one defeat at home uh, from from all the teams. So again, the strength of their home court shows why they're so up in the standings as well for Fenerbahce. Should we move on to our teams?
Yes, of course. So we start with AlleyOopDunks. We didn't have a good result this time. We still got the coach 20 points as per usual there, and that is still a reduction from 25 the week before. We didn't have a luck with Mitoglu and Lovren. Baldwin was our captain the first round, but he didn't do very well, although he was doing 30s for a long time. Mirotic, he was very productive, as we mentioned before. He scored 19 points. He didn't play a lot of time. I think he did that in just 21 minutes. So yeah, all in all, wasn't a great round. We didn't, we still think that our structure is good. The thing that many of you would have already realized is that we only have how many games? Just I think 3 games on turn 2. So you don't have a lot of turn 2 choices. So with this in mind, we thought to swap James for Larkin because they're both costing 19.1 credits. Is these players, is even you have them already, or now they're just too expensive to get them, I believe, is really a big risk to give, almost 20 credits when you can substitute for Baldwin that is around 17, or for Evans. So with that in mind, we thought it's fine for us to do that. We already have James, is no different, so it's just a simple swap. So that's the first one, and that's mainly so that we have a player for turn 2, potential captain. Kept Lovren because was also for round 2. Also, we think he's probably gonna do better than last game. Avramovic, Marinkovic, cheap choices on a good run. Both of them, they definitely stay. You can see that Marinkovic is giving double digits the last 5 games around. And Avramovic, he had 2 really good games. He has a difficult matchup, but if we see the price also is, we keep it for now and we see how it goes. Baldwin will be our captain for the turn 1, so we stick to Baldwin. We believe he will do everything for Maccabi to take that important game. If I'm not mistaken, probably Maccabi, if they win that will be their 10th consecutive win in their domestic and Euroleague combined. And Baldwin is one of the reasons they are having this good form. So we stick with him. And then we had to exchange the other 2 forwards. So Mitoglu, he seemed like he's still not ready. Now, he had a good game in the domestic Greek league. Potentially, he will be a focal point for Panathinaikos, this number 4 spot. But we still wanted to go with Moneke. You see he has the yellow color there, and that's because he was suffering, I think it was stomach issues on the last game. Probably he will be okay to play, and he will be an important factor on Baskonia trying to establish their position in the play-ins. And then we also have Sedekerskis. So we'll go with the Baskonia duo. One of them at least should have a big game. Sedekerskis, he's usually giving some points with the rebounds he gathers. He's a very good rebounder. He still needs to bounce back a little bit from this little time that he was off after his. But yeah, this is potentially a game to try that. And we stay with Polomboy. And as I mentioned earlier, Mijatovic is our coach, and we hope he can also give us something good there, at least a win.
But this team seems so loaded, let's say, with big names and also options for also for turn 2, as Bill said, for captain. Larkin was promoted from our second team.
Yeah, right? The second team actually did better last time, right?
That's true. Yes, as you see, it got 155.55 round points. Coach, we had the same coach, give us 20 points. But you see, if you have the right captain, then only Larkin himself gave us 72, almost 73 points. And then even with Pander giving us just 5, then you have Lesor, for example, with 27.5, then you have almost 100 points from 2 players. Also, Wilbekin did not have one of his classic games, but gave us 11 fantasy points. Sedekerskis on his comeback 15.4, but then the rest of the players didn't actually produce, give us what we wanted. So in this round, for this team, again, we have the same coach as the main team. So Tomislav Mijatovic is our coach instead of Dusko Ivanovic. As you see, we kept Lesor. We didn't want to give him away. Larkin was promoted, as I said, to the first team. So James was brought to this team. So you see again, as Bill said, with 19.1 credits, this amount of credits are too many credits to spend, for example. So why not bringing James to this team? We also kept Wilbekin, we kept Pander, and instead of Sedekerskis, who again promoted to the first team, we brought Clyburn to this team. Clyburn had a good round last round, so we don't see any reason not to do it again this round. And also we brought Lighty instead of Diaz. Diaz is a player from Baskonia. And the rest of the players, as you see, Plyce stayed, Jackson and Schneider. More or less filler for the team. As you see, we kept also in the eye from as well. He's contributing in the last games and can give you in points from rebounds, also scoring. So mainly, as you see, the starting 5 of this team is players who can give us most of the points. The bench, we don't expect to get that many points from the bench, let's say.
So Clyburn is our turn 2 captain. So that's why we needed to make that swap. We needed someone that he would be able to take that responsibility if James is not to be, having an amazing game again.
That's true. That's true. You always need to have the turn 2, good option from turn 2. And in this round, having FS playing in the second day, then you can have Clyburn or Larkin, depending the credits that you want to spend and the positions that you want to make substitutions in your teams. Anything to add, Bill, about this team?
No, I think there are at least a couple of players that we would like to have on our first team, to be honest, like Lesort and Clyburn. So it's not like it's our second team. And as we said, the reason why James is there is because he's playing on turn 1.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I hope we have some good results, and hope you guys have also some good results. And yeah, if you like the video, give us a like, subscribe, and follow us on next. And we will see you at the next round.
Yes, guys. See you next in the next round, and let's stay tuned and watch all the games. Enjoy the games.